Welcome to the Undrafted Armchair Quarterbacks. We're Jim and Joe, lifelong friends, lifelong fans, bringing you fan-driven sports talk the way real fans do. No overpaid experts, no scripted analysis, just honest takes on the games, players, and the big stories shaping sports right now.
And we want you to be a part of it too, everybody. Drop your comments, questions, and takes. We'll read them all and bring them into future shows. Hit like, subscribe, and join our conversation every week for free right here on YouTube or Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you listen.
Yes,
Hey,
or watch.
Joseph.
Yeah. Free, listen, watch, free. It's unbelievable. I
Yep.
think we're overpaid. Um, Man, it has been a long time. If I'm rusty, I apologize in advance to anyone out there. It's been about 3 weeks since we've done a show because I have been out of action, literally out of the country. We were blessed, the family, to take a 1 week trip to Sicily, followed by a 1 week trip to Switzerland. Never been to either place. It was awesome. It's nice when you look out your window and see the things you've seen on TV or pictures for your whole life, and it looks like that. It delivered. It was beautiful. Lake Geneva, Switzerland, Sicily, all great. People were great. No issues traveling and all that. I will say one thing. If I look like I got a little sun, believe it or not, I did in Switzerland. Yeah. The last 4 days we were there was 88 degrees, hitting 90. People over there were freaking out. They're not ready for that. Most of the places don't have air conditioning, the restaurants and all that. So it was pretty miserable for them. Great for me for two reasons. Number one, I got some sun. Number two, the beer tasted even better. So that was, the Diet Cokes. Yes, you know what I'm saying. So that was good. So I'm glad to be back. I didn't miss much as far as keeping up with on my phone, but I missed everything because there was just no TV access and all that. So I missed almost all the conference finals, NBA hockey, and all that. Got back on Friday, so I got back just in time for the unbelievable college baseball regionals, which we'll talk about. So glad to be back, my friend.
Yeah.
Missed you, missed the sports, missed being back here on what's Mother Earth, Tierra Madre or something like that. But anyways, back in the USA.
In the USA. Gotta
Love it.
love it. Yeah,
I am.
welcome back. Welcome back, Joe. We missed you too.
Hey, man, happy to be back, man. So let's get to it because we got a lot to talk about. Let's start with the big game tonight. So let's talk about the NBA. I think it's going to be a great finals matchup, especially the way the Knicks are playing now. So I'm looking forward to it. How about you?
Oh, big time. And it starts in San Antonio and 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. And I've got to start right away with a quick story that I read, which is it's kind of interesting that Larry Brunson's father, Rick Brunson, also played in the NBA Finals for the New York Knicks. This is a first. So
Wow.
father and son, playing for the same team in the NBA Finals. Back in 1999, Dad Rick played, and he got into game 3, and I think they said he logged about a minute or two in the ball game. But you know what? We got to give the man credit because he raised his son, and now look at Larry Brunson. So kudos to Rick. You did a great job getting your son. Hey, what a great player. Everybody's going to be watching him.
100%. Great player. Great person from everything I could see. I don't read
Yeah,
about him or hear about him. That's usually a good thing in sports. So
always a good
yeah,
thing in
yeah,
sports.
always. Yep.
No doubt.
Yeah, I'm
And
looking forward to it. It is interesting too. So the Knicks and Spurs have played in the finals before. You may not remember because it was 27 years ago. And I think it's interesting. Back then, the Spurs won 4-1 because the Spurs had a generational big man that the Knicks had to contend with. You know who that was? Of course, it was Tim Duncan. So isn't it funny? 27 years later, the Knicks are playing the Spurs again, and the Spurs yet again appear to have a generational big man they'll have to contend with. So, it's a rematch 27 years later.
yeah,
Pretty crazy.
yeah. Wemby and Brunson I just can't wait to see the matchup. And I'll come right out right now if it's all right with you and make my prediction. I'm sorry, New York Knickerbocker fans. I think San Antonio takes this series. And I asked my 12-year-old grandson, Carter, on Saturday. They were up to visit their Meemaw and Peepaw. And I said, Carter, who you got? Because he loves NBA basketball. Yeah, every time he comes over, he's wearing a basketball jersey. This time last Saturday, he wore a Steph Curry jersey. And he also loves the Ant-Man, which we've talked about on previous shows. And I couldn't believe his answer. I go, who do you got, Spurs or Knicks? He goes, I I just want to see a well officiated finals.
Hmm.
Whoa,
Wow.
where was he going with that? Did it have anything to do with the flopping?
Let me tell you, I wasn't going to bring this up because we got so much to talk about. But your grandson brought it up, and
12 years old.
yeah. Well, let me tell you, these are facts that are undeniable. I'm sick of it. By the way, I'm not the only one. Some of the refereeing, listen, the NBA is hard to referee. I get it. It's not like you get one play a minute like in the NFL. So SGA, I'm sorry, but this is a statistic, and I'm not even blaming him as much as maybe the referee or the whole system. SGA, try to keep up with this, everybody. He fell. That means he fell on the floor after a shot 10.7% of the time, every time he took a shot. 10. By comparison, James Harden, pretty much Mr. Flopper for a while. He's 8, Brunson 7, Donovan Mitchell 7. Wemby falls at 0.6%, okay, and doesn't even get a foul out of it. By the way, when SGA falls, guess what? He gets a 50% conversion rate from the line. So he gets a foul 20% of the times he falls. It's a real thing. SGA has drawn 23 out of 46 times he hit the court. Think about it. A 50% foul conversion rate every time he falls down. It's a joke. And I mean, and here's what I'm not saying Wemby's, not trying or something, but he doesn't fall. He's getting pushed around and all that. It's Flop City, man. I mean, Colin Cowherd, give him credit. The mayor of Flop City is SGA. And you know what? It's really disgusting at this point. I'm glad they're not in the finals. You know why? Sick of watching it. I really am. And I'm sorry to punish a whole team and city for one person, but it's disgusting. It's unwatchable. So there you go. Thank you for letting me get that out.
Hey, just blame it on jet lag.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you. As far as my pick goes, look, the Spurs finished the season 62-20. The Spurs, Wemby is still, a young basketball player. I think he's still learning, and it's tough OJT this time of year. They are favored minus 185 on the money line. Yes, the Knicks have won 11 straight. I don't think that helps them at this point. And I think the home court advantage with game one tonight at 8:30, I think the Spurs win this series too. But my prediction going forward for the whole series, I think the Spurs close us out 4-2.
I like that. I'm going to say it goes 7, just so, so it'll be a 7-game series. And the home court advantage, though, like you just said, that's going to be what wins it, hopefully, for the Spurs. We shall see. And before we finish with NBA, how much are the courtside seats going for at Madison Square Garden?
Look, they say 1 out of 10 people that live in New York City are millionaires. I think you need to be a billionaire unless you want to spend half your wealth because 500 grand, 450 is what I heard, is what it's going to cost you to sit courtside in Madison Square Garden.
There's supposed to be some kind of a fervor going on in New York too about the people being able to go in and get tickets or something like that. Now the nosebleeds are going for $4,000.
Hmm.
Ah,
Hey, it's
I, wow.
yeah,
But it's been a long time for the New York Knickerbockers. Been a
yeah,
long
it's
time.
yeah, it's I mean, right. They haven't won in 53 years, I think. So we'll see. But, listen, I don't love San Antonio. I'm pretty non-biased, really, when I look at these teams. I love the way the Knicks are playing. I love the way San Antonio plays. It's not Brunson against Wemby. I like that. There's some other role players in there. There might be some injuries that play into this. I know that New York's got a surgically repaired pinky that they got to worry about maybe, but
Yeah,
we'll
I think
see.
it's Mitchell. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the series.
Come on, get out there and play because Knicks fans are going to call out Willis Reed. You'll never forget him playing on a torn cartilage in his knee or something like that against the Lakers to help
Yeah,
the Knicks win
came
that
came
last
back from the
series.
from the locker room. Yeah,
Yeah, it was like I think he took crutches with him to the bench so he could
yeah, I
just
did.
get in. You
Yeah.
know,
We'll be watching, and obviously we'll have plenty to talk about game one, maybe game two before our next show. But there was a good hockey game last night too. I like the way this series has started.
look what John Tortorella's doing again.
Hmm.
A lot of Tampa Bay Lightning fans are probably pulling for him, but I'm not. I don't like the Golden Knights. Look at all the success they've had. They're still kind of a relatively new franchise.
Yeah.
I want to see the Carolina Hurricanes win that series. What about you?
Well, I could go. I could go either way, really, because I have no love for Carolina, um, even though their name is the Hurricanes. No relation. Rod Brandamore, I like him as a coach, but I'll be honest with you. Here's my biggest question: why is it when I look at the score and they show the scoreboard, up in the top right left corner of the TV screen, Las Vegas Knights are LVK. So Las Vegas Knights, LVK. I get it. But then you look at Carolina. Why wouldn't they be CAR for Carolina? Or why wouldn't they be HUR? So there's no rhyme or reason for it. So you got LG, like LVK, Las Vegas Knights, and then CAR for Carolina. No hurricane in there, no nothing. Fix that first. Secondly, I really don't care who wins this. I really don't. If I had to predict it, I'd say the Golden Knights, just because I think they're a better, well-rounded team. But I really don't care. I'm not going to be sad for one team or really happy for the other.
Just want another really good series.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, and it doesn't happen a lot where I literally have no dog in a fight. I mean, there's always I even try to create something. Like, remember that time, I stubbed my toe and I looked over and there was a Carolina glass on the table. Heck with them. I make up something. I literally don't, the Raiders are in Las Vegas. The Oakland A's are moving to Las Vegas. Maybe I'm, having a little bit of compassion for the city there. I don't know, but I'm really 50-50.
yeah. Well, there's one thing that cousin Freddie told me the other day. I said, "Hey, man, sorry about the Avalanche." There was no comment, but I go, "Well, who do you have uh, to win the Lord Stanley Cup?" And he goes, "I'm hoping Carolina wins it." And I went, "Oh, so is that because of the sweep?" He goes, "No. I was out in Vegas gambling one time, and their stupid teen band came into the casino one day, and we had to stop our gambling session to wait for them to finish playing because they were loud and obnoxious." So he's rooting for Carolina for that reason.
Yeah, well, I don't blame him for that. If anybody interrupts your gambling, but I think betting on Las Vegas is less of a gamble in this series.
Yeah.
And when someone says they pass the puck right into the slot, it seems like everything seems to be gambling related. I don't know, but we'll see. So you're right. If I had to pick something, I would say let's have a great series. I would love to see a 5-4 game every game. And I'd love to see a seventh game, that kind of stuff, because I do love playoff hockey. I mean, when it's
Yeah.
over, I'm kind of sad.
Yep. And you're glad you're back now,
Yeah.
so you
No,
can
I
be.
missed a lot of hockey and the NBA,
Yep.
of course. So
Yeah.
no, I made it back just in time. That was some bad scheduling on my part, really. But nonetheless, hey, what are you gonna do? All right. Before we move on, I'm really looking forward to talking about college baseball. It may not be as mainstream as some of the pro sports, but for us, I know we love baseball and we love college baseball. But we can't ignore a couple of big trades that happen in the NFL and significant trades, I think. So, what you got on that?
Well, the Florida State Seminoles, as you know, Jared Verse went out to Los Angeles and he was with the Rams, and then they drafted Braden Fisk from FSU. So they've been paired up and playing outstanding football there. Well, Jared had to go bye-bye. I, I just wonder what he was feeling deep down. Jared, you've been traded. We're sending you to Cleveland. Ah, for Myles Garrett.
Yeah, that's a good
Quite a
trade. Myles Garrett
trade.
to the Rams. I mean, the Rams obviously have a short window. They feel like, well, we can talk much more about all the implications of this, because one of the implications, too, by the way, is there's rumors. Seriously, there's rumors that you know Donald, Aaron Donald, may want to come out of retirement now and play. But before we go that far, let's see what happens there. But I will
Whoa.
say the AJ Brown trade, significant. I heard rumors the Rams were interested, didn't like the physical. I think personally they didn't like the mental. That's my opinion. But I think the AJ Brown to the Patriots, Myles Garrett to the Rams is huge, and you know says a lot about the Myles Garrett trade. Says more about what the Rams are trying to accomplish here, because let's face it, they only have probably 1 or 2 more years with their Hall of Fame quarterback. So let's get it done.
So, what you just said, my take on that is the Patriots are okay with AJ Brown's mental.
Um,
Surprise.
you know, I think they're listen, he's 28 years old. He's an all pro, three year all pro. He's still in his prime. He's worth the risk. I mean, if the Raiders got him, I wouldn't be, pissed off.
Yeah.
But AJ has a little baggage. Now, change of scenery has helped a lot of people. You mentioned Stephon Diggs before the show. Scenery has helped people. And I'm not saying he's a Antonio Brown nutcase. I'm just saying he's got some issues, and we'll see. They're probably not big enough to worry about, especially with hey, listen, New England's coach has his own issues going on. So, talk about distraction. Um,
You caught my
maybe,
drift.
yeah, maybe, hey, we got that going on too. So what the heck? Let's just add some more. I don't know.
AJ Brown has a lot to prove after he had alligator arms in the playoff game last year after his moaning. So, that's my take on it. I think he's a huge risk. But we'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. Well,
Drake May's happy. You said that before the show.
Drake May, yeah. I mean, anytime you get an all pro receiver who's, not even really arguably in their prime and an all pro, listen, Jalen Hurts said all the right things. He said they don't have any issues at all. And, maybe that's just an all pro. Um, what's the word? I can't use the B word really, but, just voicing his displeasure in not being involved enough. Okay. I guess nothing wrong with that, right?
Yeah, no. And then the U had some news. Braxton Berrios, who's been around the league now just a little bit, and he's quite a good football player.
Good
He
player.
is now a New York Giant.
Good player.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good for him. I listen. I'll never throw shade on any Miami player who was great and did, had a great career at the U. Um, good player to have. Good player to have in the locker room. Hard worker. Good slot receiver. So good for them. I
Yeah,
think there'll be some more trades before it's all said and done.
for sure. It's just getting started. But I loved when Braxton was a Dolphin. He was a
Yeah,
good little spark plug. And then I have to say, now that I just mentioned the Dolphins, I have a little special tribute here for Dolphins fans. Who is
yeah.
that?
Big number 75. We know him as big number 75, Manny Fernandez. He
World
was
champion Miami Dolphins, 72-73. Rest in peace, Manny Fernandez. Uh, Came out of Utah and four-time defensive lineman of the year, free agent in 1968, and he led the defense with 11 tackles in Super Bowl VII. And I think that he would be a Hall of Famer had he gotten the MVP in the perfect season for the Dolphins. If he had gotten the MVP in Super Bowl VII instead of Jake Scott, but Jake Scott had two interceptions, so he got the Super Bowl MVP. But Manny Fernandez should be in the Hall of Fame. That's
well,
it. That's
you
all
know,
I got.
yeah, that's an argument. I just loved all the bandages he always had around his arms and stuff. Probably like Ted Hendricks used to say, you put in some heavier bandages and stuff like that as you whack people in the head. It's funny, everyone thought he was from Miami because his name is Manny Fernandez. He's from Utah. Go figure. But it's kind of funny. No, RMP Manny. He was a great player for sure. Um, I saw a ton of great players this weekend in college baseball regionals. I'll be honest with you, I watch them every year. I don't know why. This year just seemed to be 10 times more entertaining than in years past. I enjoyed all of it, and I ended up watching a lot of it. So I don't even know where to start. But there were some incredible. You were talking about last year's teams in the College World Series. What was your? Give me your take on that again for everyone.
Yeah, I found this interesting. From 1957 to 2024, every College World Series has had at least one returning Omaha team to get back from the previous year. That streak ended in 2025, but an unprecedented streak just started in 2026. And this, if you really think about it, especially college baseball fans like us, not a single 2025 team from last year's College World Series in Omaha has advanced to this year's Super Regionals. Gone. So it's an open slate, and pretty much thinking there's has a lot to do with the portal.
Well, a little bit, sure. I mean, why not? Parity, right? Hey, listen, the Super Regionals started in 1999. This is the first time in 27 years that, all 8 teams in the College World Series didn't make it to a Super. It's unbelievable, really, when you think about it. And uh, it's there's firsts everywhere. You've got Troy, first time ever, you know, going to a Super, and then you've got Little Rock, first time ever. Here's the sad part, and this is a sad twist of fate, a very sad twist of fate. So first timers, Troy and Little Rock, all right, ever going to Super Regional appearances, and guess what? They got to play each other
Now
in a
they have to
Super
play
Regional,
each other.
and it's so sad because one of them can't go to the College World Series in Omaha, but one of them is guaranteed. So who will that be? 'Cause that's really a kind of intriguing, just little, sad fun fact, right? Um, I find it amazing the upsets this year, and you're right. The portal, maybe players staying longer, turning down those, you know, contracts maybe and staying. I don't know what it is. I know college baseball has a little bit different rule where once you sign with a team, you can't go pro until I think it's 3 years, unlike, college basketball where you can do a one and done thing. But man, I'll tell you what, it was fun to watch. Six of the 16 regionals went to game 7. That's, I think, historical. That's never happened that many games went to a game 7, a Monday game, which is crazy. 2 number 4 seeds are going to super regionals, and this will blow your mind. It blew mine. The highest seed remaining is a 3 seed. It's like what? Like what? That's crazy. It's unbelievable.
That is crazy. That got another thing here. When you just mentioned the Little Rock versus Troy, well, they go ahead and they take Ole Miss and they say, okay, Ole Miss is going to play Auburn. Why didn't they have Troy play Auburn? You know where I'm going with this. And then also Mississippi State is paired up with Georgia. Well, this whole thing here guarantees, and this is a credit to the SEC, this here guarantees Omaha will see an SEC team for the 33rd consecutive year. But I still wish Troy would have played Auburn. How far apart are they? 100
Uh,
miles?
yeah, not even. I don't even know if it's an hour. And by the way, I don't know if you heard their coach talk about. They did not win. They did not win their conference uh, championship. They got to the championship game, but did not win it. They did win 2 games to get to it, and they were a little nervous because last year they were the first 4 out team, and this year they were on that same bubble. And when they announced the Auburn regional, they weren't in it. When they announced the Tuscaloosa regional, they weren't in it. And I think they started getting pretty nervous, and then of course they got to the Gainesville regional. I watched a lot of that regional. Of course, Miami Hurricanes were in there. Miami Hurricanes pitching. To have your head coach as a former Hurricanes pitcher and legacy, um, great player for Miami, JD Artega. Um, Boy, their pitching's terrible, man, and it showed. Pitching is what carries you in there. Now, when I watch Troy, it's hard not to root for them. To have to play Florida and beat them twice and beat Florida 16-11. All right, so we need to outscore them. No, we don't, because in the very next game they hold Florida to 2 runs, and that's number 8 team in the country. So it was unbelievable.
Yeah, and that morning I couldn't gather up the strength to send you a text after Florida beat Miami. What was it, 22-10 or something like that? I was just like, did college football season opener start already? It was like,
Yeah,
oh
I
God,
know, I know.
pitching? There wasn't any.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really looking forward to the super regionals. It's college baseball. While the rules are the same for the most part, the bats are different, obviously, but everything else is pretty much the same. It's just a different sport. For a lot of reasons, just the rah rah and all that, of course. This year delivered. It's nice to see there are 3 Trojans in the super regionals. That's kind of interesting. Troy,
Oh,
USC, and Little Rock are all called Trojans. I love that Kansas hosted a regional for the first time
yeah.
ever, and they won it. That's pretty interesting. Um, Troy going to Florida. One more thing. It's like I went to Troy or something. I didn't. It's just I watched it a lot, but I kept seeing these stats pop up. It was interesting because going into Monday, teams that win the first game of that regional have a 93% chance of going to a super. Teams that lose, obviously, have a 7%. Florida won their first game. Troy lost their first game. So you're looking at a 93% chance versus a 7% chance. So it's just, more and more of that. By the way, the SEC, kudos to them. The SEC has 7 teams in super regionals, so kudos to them. ACC, boy, they dropped an egg everywhere. And what'd you say? Something about Florida too? Florida has no teams going or something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, nobody. And for Florida State, you know, my boys, they dropped their first game. They came back and almost did it the
They
hard
did.
way, but
They
they
did.
lost in heartbreak fashion in the
Heartbreak
final
fashion.
game. But credit to St. John's,
Yeah.
and boom, there you
There's
go. So
nothing else to say. By the way, Georgia Tech, how about them? Number 2 seed. They get upended, and then they have to play Oklahoma, and they lose on a home run, bottom of the 10th, defeat. Talk about coming crashing down. I love college baseball. I'm going to try to do something right here. I'm going to try to share my screen. I'm not usually that good at this, but I'm going to try to do something real quick because one thing I love about college baseball, this was the scene after West Virginia clinched their game against Kentucky. So West Virginia will be hosting a super regional. I don't think they've ever done that, so this is their first time. And check this out. It's amazing to watch. This is the head coach, and family right here.
Painted on the sky, misty takes the moonshine.
They they literally they
Beautiful.
you know what was really beautiful about that is they literally sang the entire song. And on one hand, I thought it was amazing. On the other hand, in the background, on a couple of camera shots, I can see Kentucky standing around over by the third base dugout, having to wait because the customary handshake has to happen. So I'm thinking that's a pretty long song there. So they sang it. I don't know the song completely, but it was more than one verse. So, but I thought and I think West Virginia does that in football as well. I don't think it's limited to this baseball, but just watching the game, came down to the last out, came down to the last hit. Center fielder dove for it. Second base runner had to kind of wait to make sure it wasn't caught. I think the center fielder just whipped it second for some reason. But anyways, it ended in dramatic fashion. Chaos everywhere, and then West Virginia gets up. The players all line up with the coach, with his family, and start singing John Denver, West Virginia, and then the fans just spontaneously start singing as well. College baseball, man, it was a fitting end to a fantastic weekend.
Yeah. And I can't wait. This weekend, it all gets started. The Super Regionals. It's playoff baseball. Let's just say it. Playoff
Yeah,
baseball. Gotta
it's
love it,
it's
man.
it's 2 out of 3, and briefly, I've always said this, and I'll continue to say it. It is the hardest trophy to win in all of, I would say, in all of sports, especially college sports, because you have to have a great season. You go play a regional, okay? You double elimination regional against 3 other teams who had a great season. If you win that, you got to go to a super regional and play a team double elimination or win 2 out of 3 against a team who just won the regional.
Yep.
If you do that, congratulations, you get to go to Omaha, where you're going to play 7 other teams who just did the same thing in a double elimination tournament. To win that is brutal, and you're talking about hot weather, all kinds of. It's great to watch. Love it.
I look forward to continuing to cover it too. Our next episode, we'll definitely start diving in,
Me
make some
too.
predictions for who we think's going to win that college.
Yeah,
The Super.
I don't
Who's
want to
going to
bet on
make it to
baseball.
the College World Series? Sorry.
Yeah, that'd be good too. I don't want to bet
Yep.
on anything, man. One pitcher can really dominate. Look at St. Mary's. You never know. But hey, we got Major League Baseball going on too. So next show we'll kind of catch up on what's happening in the major leagues because it's in full swing, obviously. But for now, that's it for this episode of the Undrafted Armchair Quarterbacks with Jim and Joe. Thanks for checking us out and hanging with us for some real fan-driven sports talk.
And please don't forget your comments are a part of the show. Drop them below. We'll read them and feature them in future episodes. Be sure to like, subscribe, and catch us every week right here for free on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, or wherever you listen. And thank you, everybody, for always joining us. We love the comments.
We appreciate it. And look forward to a next show later on this week. Thank you, buddy. Great to be back, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Love you, brother.
Love you, bro. See you, man. Take care.
See you.